Hello everyone, this is John Mark Johnson Jr. again, and I wanted to share kind of a little rant on something that happened yesterday morning, on Sunday morning. I was getting ready for church and all that, had a little bit of extra time, and so I decided to browse YouTube, which is probably not the best thing for me to be doing on Sunday morning because I get distracted and all that. But I typed in a very simple search, just how we got the Bible. That's what I typed into the search. And of course there's many movies that came up, but there was two in particular that I decided to actually click on and watch because they were relatively short, and I didn't have a ton of time. It's not like I had 7 hours and I could listen to a big long discourse or series of discourses. Just relatively short minutes, between 5 and 10 minutes long. So I was looking at these two videos, and one was a secular video, a non-Christian video on how we got the Bible, and the other one was a Christian video on how we got the Bible. And frankly, I was a little bit shocked and appalled by what I found. With regarding the secular video, what happened was the person who made the video gave some misleading information. It was still correct information, but it was a little bit misleading. Included some information that wasn't really pertinent to the Christian canon, to the Christian Bible. It included other groups' Bibles, which is kind of pointless if you're talking about the Christian Bible, and things like that. And then it also completely omitted some information that was rather pertinent and important. And that was a little bit disturbing. But overall, the secular video didn't lie. The information that it gave was accurate. It might be misleading, it might omit some things, but it was truthful in the basic sense. And then you compare that with the Christian one. The Christian one was, to be fair and honest, it was put out by someone who was very obviously a KJV onlyist, and said as much in the video. And the information that was given in it, the vast majority of the time, was completely fallacious and not founded on any real history whatsoever. It was just made up. They gave dates that you're not going to find anywhere in anything even remotely close to a scholarly work or just a basic historical text. And all these different kinds of arguments and statements and all these things that just are not in the history at all. About all that it got right was that the Bible exists and that there were people in history who talked about it. That's about all that it got right. And I find that appalling. On one hand, we have the secularists, we have non-Christians who are attacking Christianity, and frankly, they're attacking Christianity on the basis of fact. They're leaving things out. They're putting in some misleading information to make Christianity, the case for Christianity, seem worse than it is and all that. But generally, if you go to look up the stuff that they're talking about, you're going to find that it's correct. They don't give you all of the information, but what they do give you is correct. And then you look at the Christian stuff, and it's just completely out there, at least with some Christians. And this is the problem that modern Christianity, especially in America, faces. We've got Christians who are defending the faith with falsehoods, with lies. And if you're going to defend the faith that way, what you've basically done is you've turned how it should be on its head. Instead of Christians speaking the truth, you have Christians speaking the lies, and it's the non-Christians who are speaking the truth. If that's the case, who on earth would believe Christianity? That's the problem that we have in American Christianity right now. We have a lot of people who defend a particular ideology and will lie to defend a particular ideology, but not a lot of people who are willing to sit back, examine the evidence, figure out what is actually true, and then argue in favor of the truth. That frightens me, that's where Christianity in America has come. We don't have an appreciation for truth in American Christianity in a lot of cases. There's so much of it that is wishy-washy, touchy-feely. This is what makes me feel good. This is what consoles my little mind, instead of actually looking at the truth. Whether it be KJV onlyism, whether it be an easy grace doctrine, miraculous healings for everyone, send in $5.99 and you'll get healed, and all these kinds of things, and we'll send you a cloth that's been blessed by so-and-so, and all this ridiculous stuff that has absolutely no bearing on what historical Christianity actually is. And frankly, pretty much every time I look at the popular media, especially YouTube, but pretty much anywhere else, when we talk about Christians and the things that Christians say, frankly, it's disappointing. There's a lot of people out there who call themselves Christians who, if they are Christians, I'm not convinced that all of them are, but if they are Christians, they're defending the faith terribly. And like I said, the general problem is that they don't have a real strong regard for truth. It's an ideology, it's a dogma. The idea of actually knowing your faith and why you believe it on a factual basis is something that is foreign to a lot of people, unfortunately. Frankly, Christianity doesn't need people to defend it on the basis of what makes you feel good, on the basis of dogma. The people that we're dealing with who are skeptical of the faith have access to the information just as easily as we do. The difference is that they're actually willing to look at it and examine it and read it, so on and so forth. And for some reason, a lot of Christians aren't willing to. If we want to impact this culture, we need to start looking at the faith seriously. We need to start examining the history for what it actually is, rather than supposing that it is a particular thing. And we need to make sure that what we understand to be Christianity is actually what it historically is. In this particular regard, frankly, the traditional Christians got most Protestants beat. I am a Protestant. But we could learn a lesson or two from them, and that is the value of knowing your history. Doesn't mean we have to agree with them, but it certainly wouldn't hurt you to learn your history if you're a Christian. And not say rather idiotic and stupid things that wind up bringing Christ's name through the mud, associating Christ with lies. I find that extremely offensive. I'm not really sure how you can call yourself a Christian and yet spew stuff out of your mouth that is patently false. And some people do it unknowingly. I know that they'll hear it from someone, and they'll repeat it. But at the same time, why didn't you check it out for yourself? Why didn't you investigate it to make sure that it was true? Just because someone says it doesn't make it true. Hopefully people have gone through high school and know how to write a research paper and know what that's about. Sometimes I wonder. But frankly, the responsibility is on you. Yes, Christian teachers have a responsibility to teach as accurately and as honestly as they can. But ultimately, if you're saying something and you're saying something publicly, like on YouTube, God is going to hold you accountable for what you have to say. And if you misrepresent Him, frankly, I don't think He's going to be exactly happy with you. Okay, God is not blessed by your lies. God is not blessed by a defense that is nothing but falsehood. If you're going to speak as a Christian and you're going to speak into this world, you would better know your stuff and you better be speaking the truth. Okay, I admit I mess up. And when I mess up, I try to correct it. And I accept that correction because I know that ultimately, if this religion isn't a religion of truth, there's no reason in believing it in the first place. And there is certainly no reason in putting it forward to people if you yourself don't actually know that it's true. I'm not saying you're convinced that it's true, but you actually know what's behind it. If you don't know what's behind it, in this secular and very skeptical age, you're toast. And the religion's toast. So many people have such a low view of Christianity right now. We can't afford people acting like knuckleheads. We can't afford to have Christian imbeciles. If you're going to speak in the marketplace of ideas about Christianity, and you speak lies, what you've done is the exact opposite of what a Christian should do. If you're going to represent the faith, represent it well or don't do it at all. I say this with the greatest sincerity that I can. Why? Because I care about the faith. I care about representing it well. What you speak matters. What you say that people hear has an impact, whether you like it or not. And you will be held accountable for every word you utter. Consider what you say. Thank you for your time. For those of you who are defending the faith in a truthful and honest way, go with God and be blessed. For those of you who are not, you stand condemned by your own actions. And that is a truly sad thing.